Somewhere.
Yeah.
And we are live on the SideQuest on this beautiful December 23rd, Christmas Eve. It's the 23rd, right? Yes, it is.
It is the 23rd.
Christmas Eve. It's actually a nice slow week in which there was like no news, which is kind of nice. I am Dolly Domovsky. Joining me, as usual, the wonderful one and only Zach Quest.
What's up?
And you can find him at OKQuest. You can find me at Dolly Domovsky. You can find at _double_J, the one, the only JJ Holder.
It is JJ, yes.
And you can also find him at his wonderful podcast. I'm gonna let you.
Disney Compendium. DisneyCompendium.com just put out the Christmas episode.
Yes, you did. For some reason, I was gonna Disney Emporium was stuck in my head. I'm like, it's not Emporium. Don't F this up. Even though I mention it every week, just let JJ handle it this time.
Yeah, you've been on the show.
I've been on the show. Most definitely.
No, the Emporium is the main Disney theme park shopping center when you go to Disneyland or Disney Park. So you've at least got something ready. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have a fun week. It's obviously it's Christmas week, and I screwed up my own tweet about what I was writing. This is horrible. God Almighty!
Too much eggnog there, man. It's
I'm drinking Tennessee. Was it the Winter Jack, the Jack Daniel's Winter Jack, which I love. Yeah. Hey, hi, how are you guys? It's Christmas Eve. It's tons of snow outside. There's no snow here in Michigan. I don't know how it is by you guys, but. How you guys doing? You guys on any type of holiday break yet?
Yep.
Yeah.
I get Thursday, Friday off. So
nice. You only have Thursday. You only have Thursday, Friday. I'm so fucking privileged. You have Thursday and Friday off, and of course Saturday and Sunday as well. I'm assuming.
I always work Saturdays, and it doesn't change this week since it's not a holiday.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
But well, at least you got a couple days off.
No, my week is I'm off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I worked today. I'm off Thursday and Friday. I work Saturday, and then I'm off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it's very weird.
You got a few.
Yeah, just a staccato work week.
Yeah. That's good. Well, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Zach, what about you? Did you're just kind of chilling out this week? The rest of this week?
Yep, I have the next 3 days off.
Excellent. That is good. It's good to have time off. We need it. I have these next couple of days, and then I work in the auto industry, which means our week off next week is a week off for us anyways, because we're so tied to like plants and factories and things like that. So it hasn't stopped me in the past from going in during the holidays and working on like Christmas and stuff. But this week, this year, definitely not. Bad man. It's the holidays are in full effect. Obviously, they have been. We actually have some nice time off coming up for all of us. We're talking about some of the games that we're playing, or not playing in my case. We're going to give away games, and I'm going to give away a game right now to a lucky listener. Punch in. This is a PS4 code. Punch it in. First come, first serve. I'm just going to launch these out there. I'm going to Hail Mary. It is for The Bit Trip, a series that I absolutely love. And it's coming out for Switch, right? This week or something like.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, they're coming out individually. Anyways, it is BQJCEQNGLBB8. Once again, BQJCEQNGLBB8 on the PS4. And there you go. I'm sure I'll be giving away a few more. This is me like digging out all the old Humble Bundle games that I haven't, that I haven't been using, and finally saying, you know what, let me just get rid of these because someone's gonna like it eventually. So what are you guys actually playing though? Let's start with you, Zach. What are you playing, man?
I'm playing Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. So you were telling us in the Discord, and I think on the episode last week, that you do this sort of replay every once in a while of the entire Kingdom Hearts series.
Yep. So this is my yearly replay, but I'm doing it different. So usually I just play on the standard difficulty. I don't really touch any of the
Okay.
proud mode and critical mode. Critical mode by community standards is considered like the way to play the game. Like you're looked down upon in the community if you don't play on that mode. So it's my first time playing through on that mode, and it's given me a greater appreciation of the games because it really expects you to know how everything works inside and out. So in Kingdom Hearts 1, for example, if you attack something, as soon as it hits you, you can like tech it so it doesn't cause you any harm. So all the fights are basically like, hey, you're gonna need to like know when to deflect, what attack helps here, what attack helps there.
Sure.
So it's really fun. It's really a challenging way to play the game. There's also other part of this in the community is called the level 1 mode, which is like an official mode in every one of these. Yeah, so it syncs so you don't level up, you don't gain any XP. So Kingdom Hearts 1 isn't designed to be played this way, but they have it in there, and they have this mechanic where it's like if you do a combo string, the last hit of the combo stores damage, and then the next attack that you do does multiplied amounts of damage. So you as a player have to know, okay, if I do this combo, I can store this damage and use this spell to do this, blah, blah. So it's really fun, and it's really hard, and you got to use your brain. But the cool thing is Kingdom Hearts games after 1 are designed to be played on level 1. They're designed from the ground up to be played as a fair level 1 character, and it's also a part of the lore too, which is pretty cool. That's
one of the things that I've always loved about video games. Growing up was that you would add your own kind of crazy modifiers in and play a game a certain way. Like I know my friends and I would play, and you wouldn't have these settings in the actual game. You would just kind of take someone's word for it that you want to do something like Twisted Metal, the original Twisted Metal on PS1, which I dug out my original PS1. That was actually kind of awesome. I got that back. I don't know if you guys saw them. We would play Twisted Metal, where we would just race around. I think I've talked about this like a few years back. You just race around the course instead of bashing into each other. Just race around the perimeter and see how many laps you can make. And I mean, it's there's infinite time, yada yada yada. How many laps you can make before somebody ends up bumping into somebody else? And it was just a really stupid way to play Twisted Metal, but it was a completely different type of modifier.
Yeah. It's like how everyone you tried to play GoldenEye with what the modifiers they had in there, but sometimes you needed to set some ground rules.
Yeah. So it sounds like Kingdom Hearts, they just actually said, you know what? Let's just put this in the second one going forward.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's in the first one. They put it in final mix of the first one because it was in the final mix of the second one in the HD pre-release. Because in Kingdom Hearts, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora goes into a place where he gets chopped up into pieces, basically. And in Kingdom Hearts 2, he gets remade and brought back to life. And he's basically not what he used to be. So they always make comments of you're not as strong as you used to be. You're not as good as you are. Because I mean, he isn't the one that's supposed to have the Keyblade. It was an accident. So he's basically the weak person. But yeah, so the level 1 mode is kind of the canon way to play that game. It's you're supposed to be weak and have a hard time, but the game's designed that way, which is really cool. The equipments and spells and stuff that you get help make you be better. So
nice.
Yeah, it's those games playing on harder modes it gives you a greater appreciation for it. So I mean, it's making me fall in love with the whole series again.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And everything just finished downloading today for me, so I'm actually going to dive into Kingdom Hearts.
Dude, it's
actually finally playing into that. I'm definitely not playing it that way.
No.
I'm barely good at video games as it is. I can't.
As they are.
You want me to do a hard one too? Yeah, no, absolutely not.
and these games are hard as shit. They're super hard games to play. I get my ass whooped a lot, and I consider myself to be pretty good at games, and I'm over here getting like destroyed by
nice
dudes. Yeah. Okay. So Kingdom Hearts has been like my okay, it's nighttime. I'm about to go to bed. Let's play a few.
How long did you? Oh, that's crazy! It's nighttime. I'm about to go to bed. Let me play for a few hours.
Yeah.
To me, it's like it's nighttime. I'm about to go to bed. Let me turn the TV on, hold my Switch in my hand, and fall asleep.
No, it's like I'm snuggling with my dog, playing a few hours.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And look at that. Daddy's here. Jeff, grow up. Daddy's here.
Daddy's here. Yeah, so besides the wonderful Kingdom Hearts, I played Fenix Rising some.
Okay.
Which is I mean the game
sitting over here, yeah.
It's really fun. I think PC Gamer said it was it's a good try at a Zelda game, which is true. Like it's pretty good. I like the way it feels. It's fun to play. Combat's fun. Playing on the hardest difficulty. I think the hardest. The hardest version is actually stuck behind beating the game, but so hard mode is what I'm playing on. It's cool.
PC you're playing it on?
Yeah.
Okay.
The writing is really annoying, but it's it's annoying to where it's welcome. Like, okay, well, at least it's not being serious.
Sure.
So it's easy to drown out. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. But I'm also kind of having fun, making fun of it. Like, oh, this is stupid, but whatever. Yeah, so it's cool. It's a very addictive.
It's Immortals Fenix Rising, Stefan. Sorry.
Yeah, it's very
comments. Yeah.
It's very addictive though. It's like, oh, that, and it's gorgeous. It really hands itself to being like, oh, here's this open world thing to do, and also, hey, it looks pretty. And so there's 5 islands, I think, four, and they're all one of them is designed after Ares, or each island is designed after certain gods. They all have their own feel to them. So yeah, so that's cool. You see a bunch of people made out of stone everywhere. It's fun. But yeah, so the writing's probably the biggest problem. I think it's probably the biggest issue of the game is the tone is weird. It's the game opens and everyone's turned to stone except you, and you find your brother and he's dead, and you're like, I love my brother, I need to save him. And then everyone's making jokes, it's being you got people narrating, you got Zeus and who's the other guy? The one that can tell time, one of the gods or whatever. Anyways, they're talking oh yeah, and Phoenix will do this and do that, and then Zeus is like, oh, she can't do that, she's a human, and
But I love your Zeus accent.
So yeah,
Jimmy Stewart.
It's kind of grating. It's oh, she's gonna fight the Titan, and it's really big. It's not Cronus. I forget his name. It's he's gonna fight the one-eyed Titan, and then it's he's really big. It's oh no, he's actually really small. And then it changes size, and they're fighting over how big it actually is, and it changes size in the cutscene. That's cute. It's fun. It's no, it's actually a normal size Titan thing. It's okay, it goes normal. And then you beat it, and Zeus is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did it. But yeah, and there's a poise meter. So you break someone's poise, and then you hit them really hard, and they get hit really hard, and they fly away. So that's always fun. Just fly away. But yeah, well, what makes it different from Breath of the Wild, at least, is it's a lot more fast paced with the stasis skills. In Breath of the Wild, you had kind of pause the game and move stuff. With this game, you can run around and grab stuff and throw it at dudes. I was fighting a bear, and I was just grabbing rocks with my stasis, just throwing at it. So, but yeah, just Breath of the Wild, fast, Assassin's Creed.
It's Ubisoft, and this is I think it's Ubisoft Quebec is Quebec.
Yeah.
is the one that developed this one. But Ubisoft has these studios, Ubisoft Quebec, Ubisoft Toronto, that put out games every once in a while that it's like every year, every other year that nail it. So that and I mean it in the way that they're not like phenomenal games by any means. Like this isn't a phenomenal game, but it checks it seems to check all those boxes for people. Starlink was the same exact way, which I fucking loved Starlink because it wasn't a great game, but it was a damn good Star Fox game. You know, it was just a
Nobody's making that kind of game, so it was nice to have that kind of game.
Yep. And then Mario vs. Rabbids the year before, which was actually a pretty phenomenal. That game. I almost like that more than Odyssey. So
with legs, people are still buying that game, and
Yep. It's constantly like $14.99, and we were at the. I was actually returning. I ended up buying. Best Buy has a really good return policy right now. A lot of places do because of the pandemic. So they're like extending returns to like mid-January from like all the way back in like September, October. And I had purchased Civ 6 for like, I think it was like $13 back in October. And I'd opened it and started playing it a little bit on the Switch. Cool. And it went on flash sale yesterday at Best Buy for like $6.99. And I'm like, fuck. I paid here I am. I paid, a latte more. I saved it. So I ordered it again. And then I was able to return the original version, even though I'd already opened it, just kind of swap it out. And the guy's like, why are you returning this? I'm like, so-and-so you guys had a flash sale yesterday. And, but as I was there today, and it's a stupid long story to get to the actual point, which is my normal tangent. As I'm there, after I do that stupid return, I'm hanging out in the Switch aisle thinking, maybe I could buy an amiibo or something with the $5 I saved. And there's a lady who's like asking the worker there about Mario games. Like, what Mario game should I get? We're buying him a Switch. We got him a Switch. The guy's like, oh, you should get the Mario All-Star. It's got all those old games in there. That's perfect. And I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there. This is me with my gamer industry face on.
I'm a gamer.
Yeah. I'm like, I know game. I'm like, don't get that one. You'll get it before March if you like those games. But get Mario Rabbids because that game is it's awesome. It's heartwarming. They got a whole Donkey Kong side story in there. That's fantastic that you can open up. That's a great game. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, and it's only $19.99 right now compared to the other Mario game, which is just old games and old graphics. This is new, so I convinced her. I felt pretty good. Made her make the right decision. But Immortals I ended up buying that as well. That went on sale a couple days ago. As we knew it was going to, Immortals and Assassin's Creed we knew they were going to hit sale at like $35 sweet spot.
Ubisoft can't help themselves, man. They can't let a game be on market for more than a couple of weeks until they start just like splash it.
And I think it's actually a very smart way to do sales because you get everybody talking about the game first. And then once that big initial surge has gone through with like Immortals and other games, then they're like, you know what? Now we can start dropping the price. And Immortals, actually, that game only came out like a couple weeks ago, so I'm surprised it was that quick. They definitely pulled a Prince of Persia 2-week price slash, but Assassin's Creed they did it with, and a couple other games. They've been doing it. So. Watch Dogs did it almost instantly with Watch Dogs, but they hit that $35 sweet spot across every platform, and good on them because there's a whole bunch more of us are now buying the game.
Yep.
So Immortals, awesome.
Cool. Yeah, so I was gonna say the armor system in the game is actually really cool. It's not different, but it's like instead of being like, oh, you get +6 armor, it's like. You can do you do 25% more heavy attack damage with your axe. You attack faster. So your pieces of armor are specific to how you play, which I like when the game does that. When it's not like a stat heavy, like you get +2 defense and +5 poise. So that's pretty cool. I just hate the UI that all the Ubisoft games have. They all have the same exact looking UI. This looks like, okay. So icon designs and the UI designs in this game are really bad. Like they're like iPhone game looking. Like they're trash. But
is it mouse? Is like the main menu like mouse cursor style too? With the
yeah. It's mouse cursor, and I'm playing with the controller on my PC, and it's like moving all slow. Like,
Boy, they love that.
Yeah.
They can't get enough of that mouse cursor.
Yeah, Destiny changed things. I think that was the first game that did that, right?
Yeah,
Destiny was, and then like
feels
everyone's
like it.
like, "This is so cool, let's do it."
Yeah.
So then I guess the last game I'm playing is a game probably nobody's heard of. It's called Xanadu Next, which is a Nihon Falcom game from the early 2000s. It was.
Said he's actually heard of it. Wow,
it's really good. It was on the Engage, I think, in like 2005.
Shit. That sounds awesome now.
It's pretty sick. The older like Nihon Falcom games are like
it was Engage. Damn it.
Like East 1 and 2 are like it's like that kind of game, but this is more of like a Dark Souls where like all the dungeons are like connected and it's really methodical.
What was that Sega CD game? The Popful Mail, or there was a Falcom RPG. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at pictures. It actually doesn't look too bad. Wow.
It's fucking sick, dude. The game's dope.
It was an Engage game. That is badass.
Yeah. So I bought that on the Steam sale for like $7, and
shit, that's awesome.
It's been on my list because I like that developer. Like the East games are amazing, and Xanadu Next has been on my list. I like more methodical, slow paced like RPGs that have like weird systems, and this game definitely has weird systems. Like one of them is a supply and demand system for like keys that you need. Sure. So dungeons sometimes supply keys for you to go through, but other times they don't. So it's like, so it's like you'll run into a door and it's like, okay, I got to go back to the city and go to the merchant and be like, hey, I need some keys. So you buy some keys. And then the next day, since you bought so many keys, the supply's down and the price goes up. So it's like double the price. So like, okay, I know I need more keys. So you need to like plan your key usage and finding and grinding and selling stuff. It's really fun. I really like it. So
awesome.
Is it actually like have a system release other than, is it like on Windows or something, or is it like, are you playing an Engage emulator?
No, I'm playing on Steam.
Okay.
They did a Steam release in 2016, I think, is what I read. But yeah, it's a really sick game. Really cool. The fighting's fun. It's like you need to know patterns. You need to know like when to backstep, when to move. It's pretty Dark Souls-y, like, but not as like spammy, I guess, as Dark Souls can be. But yeah, it's. If you like weird niche RPGs, it's definitely the one.
I definitely remember the Xanadu series. So
So. Yep, and I think that's it for me. I played a little more Ghost of Tsushima because that game is big, and I want to finish it before the year's over. But Kingdom Hearts, I just keep playing Kingdom Hearts. I don't know.
Well, you know what? Before I move on, I'm going to throw a code out. And this one is for Hollow Knight.
Hell yeah.
So Hollow Knight for PC, Steam. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Okay, Hollow Knight, the code. And I'm going to go a little bit quicker. Or I'm not going to go quick, but have your pen and pencil ready or type it up. All right, here we go. F. I think it's a 0. They don't have O's. So FF0JM CEIMW NVDY6. That code again on Steam for Hollow Knight is FF0JM CEIMW NVDY6. And as Zach mentioned earlier, to me, then that actually gets all the DLC, I think, in there too. So there you go. Enjoy. And whoever wins it, let us know.
It's also on Game Pass.
Yes,
Game Pass is $1 right now. So.
Yes. Let's go on to JJ. What have you been playing?
In the same vein of the yearly Kingdom Hearts run here for Zach, I started my yearly Metal Gear Solid run.
Nice.
So I'm going through all the Metal Gear Solid games. Inexplicably, I just started with 4. I don't know why I chose 4. I just really wanted to play 4. I fucking love that game.
That's
4 is sick.
That was PS3. I'm
PS3
staring at my copy
only
of the
PS3.
Only PS3. I'm staring at my copy of the game right now, and I shouldn't say my copy. I stole it from a relative of mine.
That's bad.
And my PS3 is in like storage in the basement, and I'm definitely don't want to take out the stupid airplane wing because I still have the OG PS3. So never playing it. Haven't started it yet.
It's so good. I love how excessive Metal Gear Solid 4 is. Like there is a good game there, but in between everything is just lore after lore after lore. Like I think I made a tweet where it's like I just beat Act 2 and it's been an hour and a half and I still haven't started Act 3 yet. It's like it's just cutscene after cutscene, and each one is its own feature length thing. Like the epilogue of that game is like what, like an hour 45 minutes or something?
Yeah, something crazy like that. I remember people talking about that when it first released.
Yeah, it's so you cannot if you start.
You can't pause it.
Yeah, you can't pause it, and if you start playing, if you start playing. There's been many times where I've like started playing it and I'm like, it's like 10 o'clock and I'm getting close to the end of the game and I'm like, oh shit,
nice.
I'm gonna have to put the pin in this one. And you know, now things are a little easier because you can just do that quick resume stuff that every game has.
Yeah,
but like then the PlayStation 3 didn't even launch with a cross media bar. That came later. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 is so fucking good. It's so big, and every stage feels completely different, which is just the best. Like, you know, going back to Shadow Moses Island, and the game's a completely different game than like, you know, the first 2 stages are probably the most like thematically similar to one another.
The war zones.
Yeah, because it's like first you're in like Afghanistan and then you're in, I forget where the second one is, but yeah.
And then you go to Shadow Moses. And they're like,
you got
put
Paris,
in the second disc.
Yeah, they start fucking with you and shit. Yeah. And like Snake has the flashback to Metal Gear Solid 1. I remember hearing that. I think I remember hearing too that in order to get that goof to work, the entire game of Metal Gear Solid 1 is in Metal Gear Solid 4, but like
really, jeez.
The only way to get that it's like it's not like the Crash Bandicoot thing where in Uncharted 4 where they just kind of recreated Crash Bandicoot. They put the whole Metal Gear Solid 1 in 4. So yeah.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So JJ, do you like so my favorite part of MGS4 is when Raiden's fighting Vamp and you can't watch it. That's like my favorite part.
It's like that. It's like the Bryan Cranston Godzilla movie where they do everything in their power to make sure you never get to see Godzilla fight the Mutos. Like they're constantly shutting doors in your face and stuff. You're like, please, it's right there. Just let me, please. There's cool shit.
Dude. I love it so much. It's like my favorite part.
I unabashedly love Metal Gear Solid 4. It is one of my favorite games of all time. But yeah, and so I did that.
Watch. There's you can watch the full, where they've cut everything and put it into like the whole movie.
How long is that movie?
4 hours long.
7 hours 41 minutes. Oh,
See,
God, most Kojima
And that's
thing,
probably cutting out stuff too.
Yeah.
There's probably some of that weird like mission briefing stuff that's not there as well. But,
oh, badass.
man. Yeah, see, hearing you say that you like this game so much, it makes me really happy to hear you want to play Kingdom Hearts, because they have the same thing in common. They're both very pure in the way that they present their emotions and feelings and story points without being like, oh, we're just being goofy. It's like, no, this is how this is. Get over it.
So. I appreciate when something has enthusiasm for itself. Yeah. And that's the thing about Kojima games in particular, is that he has so much enthusiasm for himself and his ideas. And he will not let anything get in the way of that. And it seems like Kingdom Hearts and him, it feels the same way about his products. So yeah, I'm excited to actually dive into Kingdom Hearts finally. Like, I played it years ago on the PlayStation 2, the first one, and never really got deep into it. And so I'm like, okay, let's just do this.
Cool.
But yeah, I did start that code that you sent me today.
Yeah.
For Fatal Fury First Contact. I was thinking,
play the trailer right here. Yeah.
I'm looking at my shelf and I'm like, I could just start doing prop comedy or stuff. Fatal Fury First Contact starring Terry Bogard. Or I've also been playing Cyberpunk starring Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's perfect.
But no, First Contact. It's exactly the game I remember. I definitely
Neo Geo Pocket.
It's Neo Geo Pocket Color, not standard.
So we
Pocket.
had an N-Gage and a Neo Geo Pocket.
This is the first
retro podcast.
They've put out a few of these Pocket Color games on the Switch already, but I haven't gotten any of them. This is the first time I played one of them, and actually kind of impressed with the presentation of it. If you see the video that's playing right now,
small.
Yeah, it's that small too. You can zoom in and out and everything, but it gives you a Neo Geo Pocket Color on screen. That
is so cool.
And you can cycle through all of the colors of Neo Geo Pocket Colors that they released too.
Pretty cool.
The one that you see on this trailer is the one that I physically owned. That exact
Oh my god,
one.
that is so cool.
But this game,
the classic Neo Geo console, by the way, just to that would be badass.
They put out Neo Geo shit all the time.
Yep.
I mean, they put out that little arcade machine. They put out the big arcade machine this year. They put out the full, those arcade 1-up ones. They put out a Neo Geo MVS system like that this year. Around the same time, the same day this Xbox came out, this Neo Geo arcade came out for the same price. It's $500. And Amazon gives away Neo Geo shit all the time. It's cool to get
Twitch. Twitch has so many.
Yeah. So tell me, what kind of game is this? First of all, it's a fighting game.
It's a Fatal Fury game. The thing about the Neo Geo Pocket Color was it was a really good fighting game machine for portable stuff. Because at the time, there wasn't really portable fighting games that were that great. Like, if you go back to the Game Boy and you pick up Mortal Kombat for the Game Boy, it's a miserable game. It doesn't play well. It looks bad. It's got all that ghosting, and it's just a bad game. The Neo Geo Pocket Color is a much better system. The one thing that worked so well for it is it has a micro switch joystick on it. So it's actually a clicky thumbstick on this thing. So it's got a really solid feel when you're playing it, which so it's really good for this kind of stuff. You lose that with this translation of it because the Switch doesn't have the greatest joystick built onto the system.
Are you sure?
And you can actually use, if you're playing it in handheld mode, what you see on the screen, that Neo Geo, those buttons are pushable. You can play it using
cool.
So touch screen controls on.
So it's like you can play it, which obviously do not recommend that, especially for a fighting game. But they're really solid fighting games. You can see they chibi it up a little bit. The characters have sort of a cutesy, artistic slant to a lot of the popular characters, but they also like that they've re-released this game a bunch of times. There are several fighting games on the Neo Geo Pocket Color that are this game. Just like,
oh really?
The one that I have physically is I have Match of the Millennium. And it plays exactly the same, except it's a tag game. But the controls are exactly the same, the visuals are exactly the same, and this is SNK. This is SNK versus Capcom.
Sure.
So, but you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And you know, pretty much all fighting games, like especially when it's being released by SNK, were about the same anyways. Like, you know, not 100%, but close enough. You know, Fatal Fury and King of Fighters are really close to one another.
Sure, you know? Sure.
So
it plays.
yeah,
I mean, it looks cool. How does it play?
Yeah, it's a 2-button fighter.
Yeah.
So everything's streamlined. But like, if you know how to play a fighting game, you can play this really easily. It's a lot of the same kinds of, like, because the King of Fighters and you know, Fatal Fury and those franchises all kind of play similar to like a Street Fighter game. It's a lot of like, you know, quarter circles and half turns and things like that. So it's great. It was at its time the best like portable fighting game you could get. Like there was no competition. As time has evolved, it's not the best. Like the Switch has every Street Fighter game on it, you know, like up to
right.
you know, Alpha 3 or whatever. So it's not the same anymore, but it's a cool little like look into the past, and it's presented really well, and it has like the full color manual in it, which is cool, like an actual scan of the manual.
Oh, so you can actually like just switch to it. That's nice.
Yeah, so like, and it's like if you push the power button that you see on the screen or the minus button, it brings up the menu where you can change the graphics. You can change, like, do you want scan lines? And you always say no. And it has a rewind feature, which for a fighting game doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's there. There are some good Neo Geo games that weren't Pocket Color games, that weren't fighting games. There was a really good Sonic the Hedgehog game, which I could see you wanting to use that rewind feature on. And there was they did the same thing with like the fighting franchise, but made it a card game. And it was like a Pokemon style, where like you can get the King of Fighters version or you can get the Capcom version, and it was a card battling game, and that's really good. I don't know what else they have on here. I know they have the female fighting game that they put out on the Pocket Color.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
But yeah, this one just came out, I think, today. Yep. Recording, and I mean, cool. I would highly recommend it just because it's a cool little like niche historical piece. Fatal Fury is a great franchise, and this was a great representation of that franchise from a time where this kind of thing didn't really exist. There was no quality pocket fighting game, and it still holds up really well. It still plays really well. It's really solid. It has all the problems. Like, there's a lot of slowdown because, I mean, it's still trying to do a lot with not a lot. But that was just common for fighting games at the time, especially home console ports and things. So like, you can sort of look around that. It's a neat little game. I would, definitely something to look into if you're if you're looking for a fighting game. This isn't where you want to go. This
is just more. It's more history and like.
It's nostalgia. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, because you can get the Street Fighter collection, you can get the Samurai Showdown collection, and stuff like that. But like, this is for somebody like me who like remembers this stuff. It's a virtual console game, and that's what these are. They're not designed to be your. It's my new favorite game. It's designed to like preserve history, and I think Fatal Fury First Contact is sort of a decent game to have history preserved for. So yeah, it's good. I like this game. So.
Cool. Yeah, that's one of the things that I think. Just speaking of the virtual console, that's something that the reason it went away was because I think Nintendo realized they can make a lot more money letting publishers kind of do what they want with these games, do their own, because this is already costs. I think it's like $7.99 or something.
Yeah,
and it would have been like $4.99 if Nintendo kind of stuck with their pricing.
Yeah.
But now they can do whatever they want, and in its own way, it kind of lives in its own space as a release. I do wish there was some sort of like branding rather than calling it a virtual console. It was like classic games or something, but having it as its own app, I think for that sort of history and collectors, they can update it and tweak it and add things, years down the line if they want to, which is kind of cool. So cool. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
And I finally put in enough time of Puyo Tetris 2 to like have an opinion on it, and it's one of those things where I get mad at the game in a lot of ways. There is no denying it's a great game. It really is. It's a great game, but it's $40, I think.
Probably.
And there is a collective of one new mode in this game from the previous game. And don't get me wrong, the new mode is really good. It's this sort of, you like put together a team and you're like leveling up your team and stuff, and you have powers that you can use in there, and you're unlocking new like abilities and stuff, and that's cool. That's a cool way of playing the game. Everything else is basically exactly the same. This is a game that came out in 2014. Like the first Puyo Tetris was 2014, and it was like the story mode is almost exactly the same, except it adds an overworld, and it's like that's it. Like because they even have like, oh, everyone forgot what happened in the previous game.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So like everyone is meeting themselves for the first time, and it plays off of that where it's like this feels familiar, and the story goes in the different places, but it's a story mode in a Tetris and Puyo game, and it's just like it's not like it is absolutely not worth an upgrade in any way, shape, or form. Like
if
I
you
think
already
the
have
online,
the first game, okay.
If you have, but even if you don't already have the first game, if this is a game that looks interesting to you, you can get the first game for nothing. Like it's like routinely like $10, and stuff. Like you can get it on Steam, at Xbox, and also like this came out at a time where there weren't really a lot of Tetris games on the market at the time. But like if you're in this for the Tetris side of things, there are better versions on everything. Switch has that free Tetris 99, and you can spend the $10 and get the DLC or whatever. PlayStation 4 has Tetris Effect, and that it has that, and Connected, and it has that new update and everything, and it's in VR. And Xbox One has Tetris Connect as well, and it's on Games Pass. So, like, you can get your Tetris fix real easy anywhere. Puyo, now you're kind of stuck. I think Mean Bean Machine might be on the Genesis collection. I guess I could look that up. I guess I could have. Yeah, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is, on the console release of, like, the Sega collection that you can get on Steam or, the Switch and everything. And it's like, and that's just a Puyo game with a Sonic skin. Like, if you really want to play a Puyo game, Puyo hasn't really taken the United States by storm. It's not anyone's. It's not a lot of people's favorite puzzle game. So a lot of people are going to go with the Switch version, or like or like the Tetris or whatever. If you're going to get a puzzle game, chances are you're going to kind of default towards Tetris, because there's a lot of ways, and you kind of know what you're getting with Tetris every time. So I don't want to say that this game's bad, because it's not. It's really but it's the same game. It's one of those situations where everyone will shit on Madden and stuff like that, but at least when you get the same game, it's annual and it's franchise, and it's just sort of we're still working on the game, and the new stuff will be in a couple of games, but this is the new one for this year, and it's got the new roster and all that stuff. Like, you expect that, but this was 2014, it's not an annual franchise. Not a whole lot went into it to like make it a must upgrade to this version of the game. And it's impossible to recommend it at $40 for just on that alone for me. And that's what I've been sort of struggling with this game, where it's like, it's a good game. I'm not going to deny that, but $40 and having it be one new mode, and as good as the mode isn't enough to justify either upgrading or just not getting the original one.
So this is just like it seems like they made a mini revamp expansion type of thing, kind of like when you play those the Picross games on the Switch. Yeah,
it's almost as if they sold like how Tetris Effect came out with like the Tetris Connect upgrade, but that's just like, oh, you just like get that and stuff. It's that kind of feeling where it's like, this could have just been a $10 add-on, like to add a new mode or something to it. And I think the net code was improved and they changed some stuff to make it a little easier to do like league things. But other than that, like unless you're for whatever reason a high-level competitive Tetris Puyo person, which I've never seen that pop up on Corey on Twitch as like, oh, you know, thousands of people are watching this Tetris Puyo.
Hey man, there's a Puyo tournament every year at Evo. Okay.
Yeah, but that's just Puyo. I mean, like, that's fine. But like, there are better Puyo games, because this one, like, the mashup stuff's cool, but you can spend $10 and get the old one and get the exact same experience. So I have a hard time saying, like, recommending a game that is just this brazenly like, this is the new one. Get it. It's that Simpsons joke of, well, the Malibu Stacy with new hat. It's it's just no. It's like, it's a good game, but I hate it and could never recommend.
So here's my suggestion.
Just sort of poor. Yeah.
So if you want to play Puyo, buy Yakuza 6 and play it in the arcades. And
that's right. You can go right into that.
Like, there's a chance that you own a Puyo game and don't know it. Like I said, it's in Yakuza 6. It's in the Sega Genesis collection. It's like it's like those weird like panel de pawn games that were super popular. Like there was that DS Planet Puzzle League, but also like the Pokemon. Panel de Pawn, hell yeah. There you go. Yeah, it's like the Pokemon game, the Pokemon puzzle game for the N64. Sure. Or there was like a Disney branded one. Yeah, Pokemon Puzzle League, like a Panel de Pawn game or something. It's like, it's the same thing. Like, you may own a Panel de Pawn game and not even know it because it's not labeled that. And it's the same thing with Puyo or whatever. It's like, it's in different games. It's one of those things that Sega just loves. Sega loves shoving their games into a game.
Oh God, they really
already own. It's like it started with Shenmue, and it's just gonna keep going forever. You can
Sonic.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is you've probably already got a Puyo game.
Yeah.
There may not need. I mean, this is just it's like extra levels.
You almost assuredly own a Tetris game, and you almost assuredly own a Puyo game in some sense or another. And like the combo stuff is really cool to like two-player battle, Puyo and Tetris. But again, you don't have to spend the $40 to experience that. You could just spend far less and get the original one that came out again in 2014.
And then 2017 on the Switch, and I think later on for the PS4 and everything else. Yeah. I like that. I like that original one. I played it on the Switch. Yeah. I don't want any more. I don't want any more.
Also, and it came out at a good time. It came out as an early Switch game before there was a Tetris game. Then Tetris 99 came out, and there's no need unless you really, really just love Puyo. And so then you have an excuse to get it. And like, if you're just going to, I mean, I guess technically if you don't own it, I would still recommend just getting the first one for less because, hey, save money. I'm a proponent of saving money. Despite throwing my money out the window on a daily basis, I do everything in my power to save as much of it as I can. And why not? Like, the mode isn't worth the extra $20, $30 you're going to pay. So,
Hey, Puyo Tetris 1 is on sale on Steam for $12.
There you go.
And again, it's the same game. just with a missing mode. So there you go. Do it. That's
So Puyo. Anything else you've been playing, JJ?
Technically Cyberpunk, but
I think
we've said our piece with Cyberpunk.
I think we are at peace with Cyberpunk now. I will, before I get into what I've been playing, I have another code to give out. This is for The Gardens Between, which I absolutely love the game. I think I've played it on a couple platforms. Great game. This is for Steam also. It is. All right, The Gardens Between. Get your pen or open up Steam and start punching this in. Pen and paint. Get your pen. Get your crayon and your charcoal and write on the wall in your cell. The code is ETIDN KA702 ZWLXB. Once again, ETIDN KA702 ZWLXB, and that is for The Gardens Between. Great game, phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. Had a really kind of a cool story. I think I reviewed it on Switch, if I remember correctly. After seeing it at PAX season, it was nice, very nice. Okay,
it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, there you go. It's on Game Pass. Let me see what I've been playing here. I get the
this show always devolves into like promoting Game Pass.
It really does. I have, I've been playing Streets of Rage 4, and it's freaking phenomenal.
It's really good.
Yep. Hyrule Warriors.
It's frustrating because it came out at like the same time as that Battletoads game, and it's just like, see, this is how you revamp a franchise.
Yep, it really is. It really is. And I'll have more to say as I play it more, but it's chock full of so many cool modes in it, and it's got a lot of great things in it. So I'll talk more about that later. Maybe next week or something. Hyrule Warriors, out of like the 18 Zelda-ish games that came out between Immortals and Genshin Impact and the actual Zelda game-ish type of thing, Hyrule Warriors and Cadence of Hyrule, all that kind of stuff. I want to get through this, so I've been plugging through that, put a few more hours into there. And on the iOS sale today, the original Final Fantasy, which is just a horrible version of the PlayStation 1 version, which I already had.
Is there any iOS Final Fantasy game that's a good version of a Final Fantasy game?
No, it's not. The reason I have these games on my iOS, on my phone, is completely based on bathroom time at the office, right? I played, I think, the first couple Dragon Quest games at work when I'd go on a prolonged bathroom break after lunch, or if I was like frustrated and go outside, walk around. Sorry, people are my boss is probably listening. If you're kind of like in the mode where you're at home or you're at a friend's house or something, and you just want to kill some time, you're at lunch and you don't have anything to do, and you don't want to get into like anything like hardcore, like a Halo or whatever, because I started, you streaming the Project xCloud stuff is great, but I don't want to get into a game that's going to draw my time and attention if I'm at, a half-hour lunch or whatever at the office. So these role-playing games are perfect time killers, even though some of them would be like, you could pretty much put in like 40, 50 hours into some of these things if you're not careful. But I got, I've been playing. I picked that up today. I only put a little bit of time.
Didn't KOTOR 2 just come out on iOS?
It may have. Yeah.
I think they just, because KOTOR 1's been out for a while, but I think they just put KOTOR 2 out. And okay. I'm like, oh man, yeah. So I may have to get KOTOR 2.
Yeah. Does the phone Final Fantasy have like a one-handed mode like the Dragon Quest ones do, or is it just like?
It kind of does. Here, I'm opening it back up.
Okay.
So I was gonna run you guys through, but it looks okay. It's nothing special. I mean, you pick your characters, right? And of course, if you want to go crazy and where you obviously cannot win the game, I think if you go all white mage, you cannot win the game. One of them, if you go the full 4, you can't win the game. But Yes, I believe. Yeah, there is a one-handed mode in this thing, and it works fine. But the Dragon Quest games are great for that because you can just literally you can just kind of play it, and if you're if you're just kind of standing in line somewhere, and you don't have to look like you're hardcore. But so getting into that, I've only put like I think 40 minutes into that thing, just kind of fiddling around with it a little bit here and there, and this is the time of year when I get into bad Switch games. And
oh hell yeah!
Go through all of those, because every year they're constantly putting out really crappy, or they're putting out deals on Switch games. Like if you've downloaded these other 5 games, you get this one for free. Or if you download each of these games in succession, you get the next one for free, which really is just a way for these publishers to game the eShop.
Yeah. If you've ever downloaded one of our games in the past, you get this one.
That's exactly it. Yeah, yep. And so I've been doing that, and it's there are some. I gotta say, there's some really bad games.
I always wanted to do a show where we just talk about bad games, but try and be enthusiastic about them.
I'm totally for it. And I gotta say, some of these games aren't bad. They're just the execution's kind of crappy. Like I'm gonna get into let's see, what is this? Conduct Together, which is sort of this train game. And it's good. I think the intentions, there's some type of decent intentions there, but just not executed well. It's very samey. Fantasy Strike, I downloaded that thinking, oh, I'm gonna get into this like fighting.
Oh my god, dude, that game is so bad.
It's so bad it won't even work on Switch. I think they actually shut it down because I couldn't log into any servers. Astabreed, where people keep talking, oh, you gotta try Astabreed. It's kind of this cool mech shooting, a Gradius style shmup game. It's not very good though, unfortunately.
That game's good. What are you talking about?
I could see your face going like,
I saw.
What's this MF gonna say about this?
That's made by the Sakuna guys who made
Yes,
this,
yeah. I didn't like it. Blood Roots, which is sort of this kind of cool. Your character, it's got this weird, I don't want to say Hades style thing, but your character dies the opening scenes, and then you come back to life, and you go around and you can pick up weapons, and you can use a weapon for 3 times before you lose it, and you have to pick up another one.
Zelda, cool.
It's basically Zelda, yeah. But you attack. It's like Paladin. And you just kind of got to clear out an area and attack enemies and move on to the next area. And I think there's an idea there. There's nothing special about the game whatsoever, but the idea that you have to utilize the resources in a room to clear out the room. In this case, it's just a weapon. I'd love to see them like actually try and say, okay, you only have 3 shots to use this weapon, but you could do mini crafting, or you can do certain things in this area that kind of do stuff. So there's some grains of an idea there. Akudo was crap. I think that was one of those free games that I got. And its brethren, Akane, also crap. Race Die Run. Hashtag Race Die Run.
Good.
Which is, it's basically my first racing game in Unity. Because they just use kind of sort of these generic spaceship models and stuff. Asset Flip, exactly. All-Star Fruit Racing. I couldn't get it to work on the Switch. There's that problem. And then it just kind of went from there.
So the Switch just became like Steam Greenlight.
It really did.
Yeah.
Yes, it really did.
The Wii U had like really like hard like certification things, right? And then now they're like, hey, the dev console is $400 and we don't really look at the games. So
completely agree. So it's like, yeah, I mean, whatever. And there are a bunch in there. I mean, I went through a few more, started playing stuff like, and there are some, Coffee Crisis is horrible. I'm okay saying things are horrible. Crossnick, I think that's like a Picross style. I tried to get into this thing. It's Crossnick Plus. I couldn't. I think there's like too much story baked into this thing to even try to get the actual Picross stuff. And then I went into let's see, some of the demos. Like I knew they have the new demo came out last week for was it Bravely Default 2? The Bravely Default 2 final demo, which save data does not carry over into the main game, and it gives you it's like a time demo. I think it's like 45 minutes or something like that. Don't play it because it's a whole section of a game that you can't carry any save over, so you got to redo the whole thing again. So I started it, and once I found that out, I just deleted it off my the Switch. I actually like the original Bravely Default 2 demo, which was like, hey, here's just sort of the thematic stuff that we're pulling together.
Carries over. And
it carries over like items and stuff. I didn't care. They did it with the previous Bravely Default games. And I actually hop back into, I want to get the Saga collection. I think that's on my list of games that I'm interested in. Haven't bought it yet. So I went back started playing, back into the collection of mana games, which I kind of like. I have the cartridge for that, which I think is kind of stupid on my behalf. I should have bought them digitally, like the digital collection, but whatever.
What's the Final Fantasy one of that one called again?
Saga, a collection of Saga, I think is what it's called, or something like that.
There's the Final
Fantasy mana game is what you mean. It's like,
yeah.
Was it Final Fantasy
Adventure,
yeah. Yep. Because there were there's the other Final Fantasy Game Boy games too.
The other one,
yeah. That game was hard as shit. That game was so hard.
For a Game Boy game, that was a chore of a Game Boy game.
It was a chore. It really was. And that's the one I started with first, of course. So yeah, and then obviously, I'm cyberpunking it, and I want to get through Bugsnax. My goal is,
is Bugsnax Cyberpunk, or is that another game?
Bugsnax is its own cyberpunk feature. My goal is to complete Bugsnax, and
it is a body modification game. I mean,
it is, and Hades, and
Hades, dude, that game was so good.
That's so. Where I'm getting with all this is next week we're going to have our year-end episode where we talk about our favorite games of the year. We're going to do a few little article lists like we've done in the past, just like a quest, favorite games of the year type of thing. We don't generally have we stopped having a side questing game of the year per se, and sort of did for a few years did individual game lists, and then a couple years ago, based on Aaron badgering us, we ended up awarding Spider-Man Game of the Year. I don't remember what we gave last year, but I'm sure whatever.
I don't think there was one last year. I think it was
maybe
the
there was
same
one
thing again.
Yeah. But everybody on staff is really digging Hades, so we may just throw Hades as the game of the year. But we're going to have our podcast next week, and I want to have enough of Hades in there before I get into more of it. But let's get into the last little bit of news. Before we do that, I have another code for this one's for Machinarium, and everybody probably has this game in some form or another. Yeah, I mean, we probably have it on Steam, iOS. I think it's on Switch, wherever. I'm gonna throw this code out anyways.
Game Pass.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
I'm gonna see
DIPDL WGX32 ZLY 72. Again, this is on Steam. So DIPDL WGX32 ZLY 72. And enjoy. Why not? Cool. I might start giving away all these old games that I have because they're all popping up on like Epic's Game Store and Game Pass and all the other like a dummy. You keep a game long enough that you purchase on a humble bundle and you never redeem the key, that it eventually shows up for free somewhere. Nothing wrong with that.
It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. You know what? Actually, I will. Before I switch to news, which there isn't a lot of, it's the holiday season in Animal Crossing, and that's actually kind of cool. I've been enjoying hopping back onto my island and building snowboys. Sorry, and getting back into because I hadn't touched it in like a couple months, and so hop back on and time traveled to kind of take care of some of the past events that I missed. I know. And really kind of enjoyed some of the stuff. It's actually
did you get your email from Nintendo saying what kind of gamer you are?
Oh yeah. What? Okay, yeah. So let's move on to the news and talk about what kind of gamers we are. Because I am curious to see what you guys ended up with. Zach, did you get?
I'm trying to find it out. Let me see.
Yeah. I know what they awarded me core gamer.
Yeah, same here. I'm also a core gamer.
Yeah.
I'm a Nintendo fan.
Oh boy! Wow. What are your What are your hours played, guys, for Switch games?
178.
That's it. Wow. What about
That's
you,
it.
Zach?
Mine's 290, but it's like Animal Crossing and Xenoblade Chronicles are my two.
Yeah, no Scratty tonight. He fell asleep in his chair. Literally, he fell asleep in his chair, Jonesy. I demand a refund too as well. I have 884 hours.
What have you been playing?
Well, last year was 408.
Well,
This year was Octopath Traveler.
Remember, he spent most of this year playing Octopath Traveler. Every episode was him explaining what Octopath Traveler is.
Yes.
Like,
and then like plowing through Breath of the Wild and putting like 70 hours in Breath of the Wild. And
like,
I gotta say,
like my Breath of the Wild playthrough was 2016 or whatever. So I'm just like,
I gotta believe that again. The majority of my time is starting the game and falling asleep while playing it. That's what I think. Oh, Stefan says that. Sorry.
My top three games were Animal Crossing, Origami King, and Mario 3D All Stars.
Oh, nice. Let me check. Let me see. Here we go. I don't
remember playing that much Origami King, but also I guess I did play that much Origami King. That's an okay game. It's not.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Let me see what my I'm a core gamer, 884 hours, 98 games total. Again, playing all these crap games means that I'm able to get my most played hours. Mostly games by hours. Number one, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have 5 games up here. Number one is definitely not me because my daughter is also on my account. Is Splatoon 2. So she's probably put in about 100 plus hours on Splatoon 2, but just on her own. She's like hardcore into the online stuff. And like taking fools out, Splatoon 2, and then Animal Crossing. There's Octopath Traveler. Yep, Ring Fit Adventure because I use that quite a bit. I probably put about 100 hours. Well, this year probably about 70 hours into it, and then Pokemon Sword. So as I clear through that, but
apparently I played 7 games starring Super Mario. So.
I played only 6, so you beat me out because you had Origami King and I didn't.
Okay, I was about to say, what game did I play that you didn't? But that makes sense now.
Yep. So there we go. And it's kind of interesting. I always like these end of the year stats things because they're my most hours is by far is July because I had 138 hours in July because that's when I threw my back out and I couldn't do anything, and so I just sat the whole day.
My most.
Octopath Traveler or whatever.
Yeah, my most was March for obvious reasons.
Yes, yeah.
That's when everything went to hell and Animal Crossing came out.
March is March is my 3rd lowest. and it's because I didn't play anything up until Animal Crossing at the end of March, and then I plowed 60 hours in it then. So good stuff. 2100. I always love these kind of, like I said, I love these kind of things usually because they're they kind of give you an idea of how poorly you've he's on. He was there earlier, but he's not. Good. Your Ring Fit is good. Scratty is falling asleep. News wise, let me get into just like literally the tiniest bit of news because there isn't a ton. Last week, I think news broke right away when Sony took down Cyberpunk. We covered that. The Nintendo gave a video tour of Super Nintendo World, and I know we didn't talk about that on the episode. I don't believe we did. No,
we mentioned it that it was coming, and then I explained how weird Universal is with theme park shit.
Yes,
so that was the extent of that conversation.
Okay, that really was it. I mean, there wasn't anything else. The Book of Boba Fett. After we all watched the thing. Sorry, spoilers. Really, there's not a lot right now. Everyone's waiting through.
Are you sure?
Why is it? What else? What else is there? There may have been something.
The KFC console.
Oh, yes. Actually, I have that slide, that tab open right now. KFC and their bucket-shaped console. That's the only news we can really care about. And yes, Dr. Jones. He's we're gonna get Scratty to Aaron to review the KFC console. Thank you.
There's also another news, I guess. Stardew Valley released a huge update. Rehauling the game and adding new in-game stuff. So They said it's their biggest one yet, which is pretty crazy. So
yeah. I got to get into Stardew Valley. I haven't spent nearly enough time on that. But the KFC console is Cooler Master, right? So I'm just going through the stats right now. It's the Cooler Master PC. They kind of shaped this thing. They actually had a modder within their Cooler Master group, I think, work on this thing. And it's got, I think some of the stats are kind of interesting. It's got the it's got an Intel NUC 9 Extreme Compute Element, the new king of tiny gaming PCs. NVIDIA 1 terabyte Seagate SSD. It's VR ready. Supports ray tracing, 4K, 240 FPS, or 240. Yeah, so it's there. You go. It's
It's going to cost like
hold an actual. Yeah, and it can hold an actual freaking.
It's got a heating tray in it to keep your fried chicken nice and toasty.
Exactly. So there you go. Bizarre, but why not? So go ahead. That's the next gen console we all deserve.
Did you watch the KFC Lifetime movie?
Yes, I did. That wasn't even remotely like enjoyable from a bad stance either. It wasn't. But you know what was better was the Simpsons. I don't know if you saw the Simpsons this past week. They did a Christmas story, a summer Christmas story in summer for Christmas, I think was the actual title, which was a bad Lifetime movie that they were filming in Springfield. And it was brilliantly done because the whole episode was themed as a bad Christmas movie, right down to the music, character types, stereotypes, tropes and everything, but it played out perfectly. So yeah, sorry KFC one didn't do. Sorry, Mario Lopez. You actually weren't like a sexy Colonel Sanders. Your shirt wasn't off at all the whole time. Sorry. How could you?
Ric Flair did a better Colonel Sanders.
Yes, he did. With that, let's polish this fried chicken thigh, this bird, and pack it up for the night. It's Christmas Eve, but we do want to say thank you to everybody for sticking with us throughout this year. Next week again is sort of our game of the year. Thank you. I'm very jolly. I've had a lot of this. I kept pouring it. That's why I kept kind of disappearing. That's the winter jack. It's good. It's light.
You're having a cup of cheer over there.
Yes, definitely having a cup of cheer. And you joined just as we were ending. Sorry about that. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Again, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And we will definitely have another we're definitely going to have another episode. So that's good.
Whoa.
Wow. News. Yeah. Breaking news. You know what? I'm going to give away another game real quick. Let's give away one more game. The one you've all been waiting for. The biggest sequel of the year, probably from a previous year, which is Euro Truck Simulator 2 on Steam. It is.
I'm taking it. That's mine.
Get this code. DLIVM CRMKN D792R. Once again, DLIVM CRMKN D792R. I'm letting everybody know this is how good of a chance you have to win any of these games. Nobody listens to this podcast, so you can download the episode and listen to it like 2 weeks later, and the codes are still valid. So,
next year's Christmas episode will be out. You could still claim.
You probably could. You probably could still get Hollow Knight. But thank you, everybody. It's been awesome. I'm at Dolly Domovsky. Zach, where can we find you?
At OKQuest on Twitter.
And JJ, where are the multiple places we can find you?
The_double_J on Twitter and DisneyCompendium.com or wherever. If it's hosts podcasts, it's there.
Yes, JJ's on every podcast. To be honest, it's just you open up. I
also do the Hogcasts Smack Jabroni Delivery Service, which is a real play wrestling RPG, and awesome. We just did a couple weeks ago our Christmas episode, which is going to be it's non-canonical and takes place in a 90s cartoon universe
Dude,
where
that's
our
awesome.
characters are saving Christmas, and there's surprise guests and stuff. If you listen to other
Cool.
real play podcasts and stuff, and other video game podcasts, there's some significant voices that you may hear. So, yeah.
Have to check that one out. Have to check it out.
Yeah.
All right. And you can find us at sidequesting.com, at sidequesting everywhere else. Take care. Peace out. We love you guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas and all the fun stuff. Bye.
Okay, Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim.